Hey, this is Brian Wright, and this is the Daily B76. Be present. Hey, this is Brian Wright from BrianWright732.com and fitin.com, PHITIN.com. And what I'm talking about is being present. Being present in terms of living in the moment in which you exist and operating as yourself in the moment that you exist. If you are in business, running your own business, you had to have some kind of knowledge, skill, ability that allowed you to do this. It's not like you can just go and open up a business without having something there. So I'm not talking to the person that is completely funded by an idiot who's giving you, who has nothing, the opportunity to do whatever. I'm talking about you, the self-starter who had an idea, who's passionate about something and then got involved. Now, you're running your own show. Now, you have hurdles that you have to overcome, expansions to do, new opportunities to come about. One of the main things that can stymie you in the process of truly growing and creating a consistent, system that is you, is trying to emulate other people and living in the past and living on the ideas and the success of other people in terms of taking copious amounts of notes of how everything's been done so much better and by whomever, wherever, and ignoring the things that you know you can bring to the table. So you're ignoring your reality and assuming someone else's reality to try and live your situation. Meaning, like if you're a writer and you're buying the laptop that your favorite author uses and sitting at a table with the view that somebody else found success with, or writing on your notepad that was created by somebody famous and using the pen that some other famous person did, and using the system of breaking it down that somebody else sold to you in an ebook, whatever. Like you're combining all these other people's processes and ignoring your own. If you have a process, if you have a system, if you have an idea, if you have a belief, live that. Be that. I really don't believe there are secrets, tricks, and tactics that other people are really going to be able to give you that's going to work directly for you. I think you can be inspired and motivated to look at your systems and tactics and refine them based upon what other people do, but you can't directly copy and be yourself. If you're directly copying, you are being somebody else. There are definitely best practices in the technical functions of what we do, but in the overall grand scheme of how you bring yourself to the world, it has to be you. You can't go and put on someone else's clothes and speak in someone else's language and use someone else's props and be yourself. You have to define for yourself, what is the backstory? How does it develop? What are you trying to get across? What is your main goal? You have to be connected with you, and that is where you are being present. That is where you're living in the moment, dealing with the issue at hand, not an issue that someone else dealt with. Dealing with the client that you've got in front of you right now and their needs, and answering it from your experience, which may have collective knowledge of other people, but it has to be communicated in your voice. I really hate people that drop other people's quotes constantly, because I start to feel like, I'm playing Trivial Pursuit instead of talking to a human being. So when someone gives you the answer that, so-and-so said in 1855, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear what you think. I want to hear what your experience is about. I want to connect with you. I don't want to connect with an 18th century philosopher that you fell in love with. Do you understand? So being present, living in the moment is extremely important. And addressing people with the knowledge of that moment and addressing their needs of that moment is really important. Being authentic is the epitome of what you need to be. You don't want to be somebody you're emulating. You want to be yourself. Don't go read the book about Steve Jobs and become a dick at work overnight. It worked for him, I guess, but you be you. Don't go and be, you read a book about Napoleon, don't go try and, storm across Europe. Why are you going to get into, artillery when you're into selling widgets? So if you're a Napoleon person, you would understand what I just said there. But if you're not, I'm sorry. Go look it up, figure it out. But again, be authentic, live in the moment, be who you are. Stop trying to play with other people's tools. Like in terms of, let's say, martial arts, I see guys that go and they buy the gi that their favorite person likes to wear, the uniform. They have the belt that was designed by, the person that they're trying to emulate. They're putting the match down that the best school uses, and they're creating the color scheme that the most successful guy did, but they're ignoring what they want. If what they want is to emulate someone else, that's one thing. But I don't really know too many people that want to be somebody else. And if they do, it's not that they really want to be that person. They want to achieve what that person achieved. And by trying to be that person, you're not going to achieve what they achieved. And you're limiting your ability to grow. So you have to achieve what you can achieve in the way that will work for you, not somebody else. I hope this makes sense. It's a Monday morning. Go out there, be authentic, and go after it your way. Use best practices with the mediums that you're using as a guide, but the communication has to be you completely.